Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Swing Museum podcast. I'm your host, Jan Eberle, and I just returned from the Bird Key Yacht Club in Sarasota, Florida. The event that I'm talking about is the National League of American Penwomen and their annual Launching Leaders into the Arts program, which is an awards program based on a competition for high school seniors from the counties of Manatee and Sarasota. We had a great turnout for all of the applicants. The judging was about a month ago, and the winners all convened today. And it was one of those things of being in a room with that many artists, young artists, painters, sculptors, writers, composers. It was just absolutely overwhelming with joy and with art, and everyone connected. And that's one of the reasons that I'm a member of the National League of American Penwomen, because I am accepted equally as everyone is as an artist. I'm embraced, I am supported, and I am loved. And these children, young men and women, were embraced today as well. I'll get back to you in a few minutes with some of the highlights, and I'm glad to bring them to you. Welcome to the show. Welcome, one and all, to the Swing Museum April podcast. I'm your host, Jan Eberle. It's good to be back here. We have a very, very full podcast today, and I'd like to remind you we have a couple of small interviews coming up with Lolly Owens and with Brenda Spalding as well, and full coverage of the wonderful and outstandingly successful awards program down at Bird Key Yacht Club. Before I do, though, I'd like to touch on some of my own projects first, and talk about the first book that I wrote. And I started back in 1993 with this little devil. I had really started listening and reading a lot of Aesop's fables, and one in particular stuck to me, and I believe they call it the grasshopper and the ants. Well, I switched that around because I figured, size first, right? Anyway, I just took a lot of time to really try to develop characters out of something that's, only several lines long. And it ended up evolving into something that I also wrote music for, which I have not done anything except refine. But out of that, finally in 2015, I have my first children's book published called The Ant and the Grasshopper through Laredo Publishing. It is on Kindle. It is on Audible, which it loves very much. Apparently, the kids love listening to children's stories on Audible, and I'm very excited about that. What I'd like to do is bring a snippet of the Audible for The Ant and the Grasshopper as well as the trailer. You are tuned into the Swing Museum podcast. Take a listen.
Far off, amidst the enchanting wood, the ant heard the familiar cries of a fiddle. Not just any fiddle, but the sound of his longtime friend, the grasshopper, fiddling away on his forever fiddle.
Ah, my friend! I see you have lasted another winter by pilfering and foraging for crumbs. How tastes your fiddle, grasshopper?
Asked the ant.
Why, Mr. Ant, you look fitter than my fiddle. It's good to see you have survived too. But then, you always do, my dear friend,
replied the grasshopper kindly.
Mother Nature has had mercy on you so far, Mr. Grasshopper. But what about next time,
inquired the ant.
Why, if I may be so bold, Ant, are you gathering so early?
The grasshopper asked his friend thoughtfully.
You waste the beauty of the forest and the splendors of summer. Please, come with me. I shall play you music until the skies grow dark, and the moon is full, and the gentle winds blow through my night forest. Ah,
sighed the grasshopper.
forever friends, one forever fiddle, and a beautiful forest in the summertime. The ant and the grasshopper learn more about surviving in the forest than they ever dreamed possible. Join the suspense and intrigue and lessons learned about survival. The ant and the grasshopper. My little gem, the ant and the grasshopper. Well, I make no secret of the fact that I really was in love and am in love with the big band era, mainly because I was a part of it as a big band vocalist for 35 years, and also because I have a family history. But when I first started at the age of 20, yes, yikes, I was fortunate enough to find a gentleman, a music major and a teacher who was very much interested in helping me to customize some arrangements as I had gotten my job with the Vincent Lopez Orchestra. His name is Ricky Lombardo. And one of the first tunes that he put together for me was a song written by Fred Coots, Jay Coots, and Haven Gillespie, and it's called You Go to My Head, written in 1938. Well, there was something haunting about it, something unique, and Ricky was sure that he could produce not only something special for my voice, but adding a very light blanket of Glenn Miller sort of sound in the brass that would remind people of the family heritage. And he did so in such a wonderful way. I talk about my 2006 album called Blue Champagne, and I'm featuring that with a full orchestra on there. Before I bring that to you, I'd like to tell you that I'm in good company with You Go to My Head. It's been recorded by a lot of people. I believe it was Larry Clinton's orchestra, who had the first recording in 1938, followed by Billie Holiday, Coleman Hawkins, Casa Loma Orchestra, Dave Brubeck, Sarah Vaughan, and Frank Sinatra. Yow, I get shivers. So I'd like to bring that to you now. Here is You Go to My Head. You are tuned in to the Swing Museum podcast. Enjoy. And I find you spinning round in my brain like the bubbles in a glass of champagne. You go to my head like a soup of sparkling burgundy brew. And I find the very mention of you like the kicker in a julep or two. The thrill of the thought that you might give a thought to my plea casts a spell over me, then I say to myself, get a hold of yourself. Can't you see that it never can be? You go to my head with a smile that makes my temperature rise like a summer with 1,000 Julys. You intoxicate my soul with your eyes. this heart of mine hasn't a ghost of a chance in this crazy romance. You go to my head. You go to my head. Though I'm certain that this heart of mine hasn't a ghost of a chance in this crazy romance. To go to my head. You go to my Hi, everyone. I'm Jan Eberle, your host of the Swing Museum podcast. Tune in by day to ksav.org to hear the best of old-time radio since, well, old-time radio. And check out their broadcast schedule where you can listen to a different hosted show every evening. How fabulous. But don't forget to check out my Swing Museum podcast archive page for the latest and greatest in my world and the world of art. So tune in to ksav.org, your radio home on the web. Welcome back. You are tuned in to the Swing Museum podcast for the month of April. I'm Jan Eberle. I'd like to move on to some really interesting interviews that I promised from last month. Before we go into the festivities for this awesome event that occurred today, we'll get onto that. There's so much beautiful stuff to look and listen to. But first, I'd like to focus on a gal who is a longtime member of the Penn Women and a really beautiful artist named Lolly Owens. And she has an announcement to make, and she'll be talking about it in a brief interview that we had. It is in the Sarasota area, and it's the 69th Annual Symposium and Exhibition called, and I love this, The Beauty of Small. Yes. It runs from May 28th through June 20th, the Ringling College of Art and Design. This is a fascinating interview where she talks a little bit about how much this means and how she's very excited about this. Lolly Owens is the chairman of the event, and I'll let the interview do the talking. Here now is Lolly Owens. Take a listen. Hi, everyone. We're continuing on here with the Swing Museum podcast at the beautiful Bird Key Yacht Club. And I wanted to take the opportunity to talk to Lolly Owens, who is a longtime member and an artist, and she has some really interesting things to talk about in the general Sarasota area about symposium and exhibit. This is fascinating. Tell us some things about this.
Well, I'm a member of the Florida Artists Group, which is a statewide organization founded in 1942. It's a nonprofit whose goal is to enhance the arts in the state of Florida. The last time we were in Sarasota was in 2012 with our exhibit and symposium, all of which is free and open to the public. We're at the Ringling College of Art and Designs and the Richard Bosch Gallery and the Willis Smith Galleries. Our opening reception is Friday, March 31st from 5 to 7, and we'll have art from artists from all over the state of Florida, painting, sculpture, 3D, many different varieties, and I hope the public will join us. There will be docent tours on Wednesday morning and afternoon through June. And if someone would like a docent tour, they could contact me at lolly@lollyowens.com.
That's fabulous. You must be so excited.
I'm thrilled. I'm the area chair for this event, and it's been wonderful working with our local artists here and artists throughout the state. It's a great networking opportunity.
And it's wonderful to know you as a fellow Penwoman. Honestly, it's really, really an honor to know you.
Thank you. It's great knowing you as well.
Thank you. Well, if you all have a chance to go out and check out art, again, and I said this with Polly last month, if you think you know everything that you know about art, please go out to some of these exhibits. You're going to meet some wonderful people, some awesome artists, and have just a generally awesome time. You're tuned into the Swing Museum podcast. I'm Jan Eberle. We'll be right back. Thanks, Lolly. As I always say, this is a good time to have a piece of paper and a pen or pencil with you. You are looking at the beautiful invitation for the Ringling College of Art and Design in this event, and I really encourage you to check it out at the Ringling College of Art and Design, 2363 Old Bradenton Road in Sarasota, as you see. May 28th through June 20th of 2019, free to the public. Opening reception is May 31st from 5 to 7. I can imagine that will be some wonderful small event there to be at just alone. The Larry Thompson Academic Center, Richard and Barbara Bausch, and William Smith Galleries. There are also some docent tours the morning of June 5th and the afternoon of June 12th, as well as the morning of June 19th, which has something to look forward to. So if you have an opportunity, please get out there, and we'll be reminding you also as we go along. Well, I'd like to switch gears a little bit here and show you some awesome pictures from this event of these high school seniors, soon to be college freshmen, soon enough. And the day at the at the whole event, at the ceremony, celebrating their wins, their awards for their, we're talking painting and sculpting, writing, reciting of the writings, and of course, performances of the composers who were there. Take a quick peek at some of these beautiful pictures from the event, including those of us who were chairing the event and doing a lot of work from the Pen Women. This is the National League of American Pen Women launching leaders into the arts. You're tuned into the Swing Museum podcast for April. I'm Jan Eberle. I'd like to continue on with an interview from a fascinating lady. She has a wonderful story about how she got into writing and then how she got into publishing with her own publishing company. She's a wonderful businesswoman, a great mentor. She is a plethora of knowledge and is she shares. She just shares everything, all of her knowledge, all of her experience, and it really doesn't go unappreciated. So she talks about that as well as the importance of children's literacy. We really do share that in common. So here is Brenda Spaulding. Welcome back to the Swing Museum podcast. I'm your host, Jan Eberle, and I talked about this wonderful lady last month at the March podcast, and we were talking about how she got started in publishing and as well with children's literacy. But Brenda, this is Brenda Spaulding. We're going to talk a little bit about how you got into the publishing world to do the kids' books. How did that all come about?
It was, it's a rather funny story. I was sitting with a friend in Bradenton waiting for the fireworks, 4th of July, 2010. After a few bevies, she brought out a story she had written about her granddaughter and a dragon. And I'm a little competitive, so I went home, and the next day I wrote my very first children's story. But I wanted to know, how do you go about getting these things published? So I went on the internet and I queried, agents, publishers, all that kind of thing. Discovered it's going to take until I'm dead and buried before somebody actually picks up my book and wants to publish it.
We know that's not true now.
Well, pretty close. So I went self-publishing. And from that point on, I have learned so much about the business. And now I do some self-publishing for myself and for everybody else that wants me. I have a little publishing company, and it is heritagepublishingus.com. And I have a blast. It's something that I really, really enjoy, is helping first-time authors get their books published.
That's an awesome thing
and in their hands, because I know the thrill that I had in my first book. So that's why I do it. I really enjoy it. Yeah.
Well, you talk about something you call cozies. So shortly after the children's books, you started running your line of what you call cozies. Just to give us a brief idea.
Yeah, a cozy is a cozy mystery, and it is a short. It's like 50,000 words, and it does not have in-depth police procedures and all that sort of stuff. It deals more with the human element, the emotions, and what's behind the mystery, as opposed to the actual facts that the police would delve into. And I have done 7 so far, and I love them. I have a little paranormal series going. I've just come up for a title for number 5, and it's set in Salem, Massachusetts. Young ladies having clairvoyant visions that help them solve crimes, often getting in the way of the local constabulary.
That's very cool.
So they're more lighthearted. They're more lighthearted, easy, quick reads.
This is fascinating.
And I enjoy them.
I love the whole story and how it started. Well, we're going to take a quick break and come back and talk to Brenda Spaulding a little bit more. We'll be right back. I'm Jan Eberle, your host of the Swing Museum podcast. Tune in by day to ksav.org to hear the best of old-time radio since, old-time radio. And check out their broadcast schedule where you can listen to a different hosted show every evening. How fabulous. But don't forget to check out my Swing Museum podcast archive page for the latest and greatest in my world and the world of art. So tune in to ksav.org. Your radio home on the web. Welcome back to the Swing Museum podcast. We've been spending a little bit of time chatting with author, publisher Brenda Spaulding, and we were just talking about how she got started with a publishing company. But one of the great things I think that Brenda's very proud of is her extraordinary advocacy for children's literacy, and there's not enough of that. And if we don't teach our children how to read, how to really read, we're in trouble. So she's doing us a great service, and I'm going to be with you at one of these events.
Yes.
So how did you really get into the events?
It started back when I had my children's books, and we did not know we did not know each other. Authors did not know each other back then that well. And I started a group called ABC Books for Children. And then we had that for a year or so. And then there were adult authors that needed the same kind of help. So we made it into ABC Books for Children and Adults. And then I ran across a lady, Kay Haynes. She is from Realize Bradenton, and she wanted to do a children's book fair just for the children. And I have a young grandson who does not like to read. I have to pay him to read. And
is he wealthy?
No, well, yeah, he's getting there. He's got more than me. And so I really want to promote children's literacy and make them, and not make them, but help them enjoy reading. And so I work with Peg Haynes every year to find authors for the Bradenton Children's Book Fair. And this year it is going to be April 6th in downtown Bradenton from 9 to 2 on just off of Main Street. It runs in conjunction with the farmers market. So I want everybody to come down, bring your kids. Grandmas, come buy books for Christmas. They're much better in the Easter basket than a whole lot of candy.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yep. So
that's fabulous.
Yes.
I'll be there too, and I'm really excited.
Yes.
Very excited.
Yes.
As I was saying, folks, if you have an opportunity, if you do live in the Sarasota-Bradenton area, do get out on April 6th to the Bradenton Children's
Book fair.
Yeah.
And you can buy your veggies at the farmers market too.
Right. A veggie and a book.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
It's a great blast to talk to you.
Thank you so much.
You've been listening to the Swing Museum podcast. Let's get on with the festivities inside. What a fabulous lady. I'm so glad I was able to get these interviews over here for you. Well, as we're talking about, if you're in the Manatee and Sarasota County area, we really encourage you on April 6th from 9 to 1 to go downtown Bradenton to the Bradenton Children's Book Fair. And it is right in the square there, in the marketplace off of Main Street, where the weekly farmers market is. And we're going to be sharing lots of authors and books, reading, talking to the children. I think it'll be a really, really fun morning, and we hope that you can join us. So right now I'd like to return to the awards ceremony from the Bird Key Yacht Club. And a few very talented winners of the composition award portion of the show. Listen to some of the music that they've made, and although these are performances, they were judged on the compositions that they wrote. And that is fascinating to me for a high school senior. Take a listen.
To you, oh, I don't try not to drown.
What a lovely, lovely event. It was so much fun and a little bit of hard work, but it was a great time. It only comes once a year, so we'll look forward to it another year from now. I have to tell you that the Penn women have a wonderful event here to share with high school seniors in Manatee and Sarasota County every year. I can't wait till next. Barbara Jendrysik, you've done a wonderful job as chairman of this entire event. And I'd like to give a quick shout out to our art chairs, Audra Morans and Jana Millstone, to the letters chairs, Amy Elder, Madeline Ginsberg and Judy Allen, as well as the music chairs, myself, Jan Eberle Schaberg, and Dr. Alice Merck. What a great time. Well, thank you so much for joining us for this month's Swing Museum podcast for April. We're looking forward to some new things for May already. In the meantime, I hope that you stay well, happy, and safe. Until next time, so long, everybody.